Welcome to the PTR Physiotherapy Rehab Podcast. My name is Warwick Schmidt, and in this podcast, we interview subject matter experts, authors, and elite athletes to help inform clinicians and patients and generate discussions around sports, rehab, health, and how to get people back to their best. We hope you can take away some content and use it in your practice. Today we have an amazing guest, and we're very honored that he's taken his time out to speak to us, Oscar Dennis, who has a very interesting injury history and is an example of mental hardiness and physical robustness to get back to where he is now. So I probably would butcher the introduction, so it'd be great if I could ask Oscar to just introduce himself and how we come to talk to the podcast.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I am Oscar Dennis. I formerly played rugby7's for a majority of my life. I qualified for Tokyo 2020. I then had my tragic accident that set me on a different kind of career path. Ended up in Paris with the tandem road cycling, and now on my way to LA 2028 for triathlon, hopefully.
Excellent. I will actually pick your brains on how you went from quite a short, sharp stop-start sport like rugby to quite a hard, long-distance one. So look, if we could start from the beginning. So how did you get into rugby? How did you get into the sevens?
So I was actually at school in the UK for secondary school. So I was at a school called Kingswood in Bath. Grew up playing all sports. Played for Bath juniors on my way up through school, which was good fun. And then I left school wanting to play rugby, but I didn't really know which direction I was going to go in. I had quite a bad injury in my last year of school sport where I had Gilmore's groin, basically. Not sure the real name of it. Is it called Gilmore's groin or?
Gilmore's groin is one name of a collection. Yeah, so it's a name after a clinician who diagnosed it, but it's a hernia essentially.
Okay,
So
I missed my whole last year of school sport due to that. But then so then I went down to South Africa I think it must have been about November after I finished school in July. And I had a quick surgery down in South Africa because having gone basically a year, hadn't got much better. So I went down there, had that surgery, that fixed it up. I then went out to Australia just to get back into playing rugby a bit. So I played for the University of Queensland for 6 months, went home, joined my club side there called Nondies, and played like the local circuit, our national 7 circuit there. And then I got pulled up into the Kenya 7s from that.
Awesome. Was that a surprise for you? Were you gunning for it, or?
I was gunning for it, and Kenya 7s has always been like I've always loved the team, and the team's loved by loads of kind of spectators around the world.
Definitely a fan's favorite.
So I was always keen to play for Kenya 7s. And so playing like the national circuits, the coaches told me that the Kenyans kind of had their eye on me. Then the season kind of finished, and I didn't really hear too much from them. So I just kind of was like, maybe next time. And then I was actually playing golf, and I got the phone call when I was on the golf course saying that we need you to come into training. It didn't tell me I was going to play or anything, but I knew the tournament was coming up called Safari 7s. But they basically just said, we need you to kind of fill in at training, come at this time, bring your stuff. So I was like, okay.
Great.
Rocked up to the hotel and then got given a room key. And I was like, what? I'm not staying. And they were like, yeah, you are. You're in. So like, no.
Good signs. So
after training, I had to go back home, get all my stuff, tell my family, which was all quite cool. So we had a quick little dinner whilst I was at home. And then, went into camp and then played for Kenya on the weekend, which was quite cool.
Awesome. How long were you in that setup for then?
So I was in the setup from 2014.
Okay.
So, actually a bit. So before I went down to, so from kind of September to November, I was in the 7s a bit, but it kind of doesn't really count. So I guess, end of 2013, 2014 was kind of me into the 7s. So I did that it was 2 and a bit years. And then I ended up getting a place to study and play in Australia. For university out there, Bond Uni. And then that was a 2-year degree, finished that 2018. then came back, and I was then involved in the sevens again there. So it was about 7 years I was in the sevens setup.
That's pretty good. Pretty good. And then did you, yeah, definitely as a rugby fan, sevens is amazing to watch. You get the Super Series and the World Series as well. So that how was that tournament life then for you? Just going in and out of that stuff, was that easy to get hold of, or did you?
It was. I mean, it couldn't have got much better, really. Like, you go on tour and you're kind of with your best mates and your closest mates from around the world for 20 weeks a year. Back when there was 10 tournaments a year, we'd be there for a week for each one. You'd all be in the same hotel. It was just, it was carnage.
Nice.
It was good fun though, very good fun. So loved going on tour. And it was a really, I think like rugby's given me a lot in my life. And I always kind of want to give back to rugby at some point for sure. But life kind of had different plans.
Something changed that course, which has sadly occurred. Can you just talk us through the night of what happened? I've personally watched a couple of the videos and interviews you've done already, but
no, definitely. So, which was quite interesting in COVID. So we finished playing LA and Vancouver. Those were the last two legs on the World Series, and we got home, I think, on the 16th of when would it be, March, and then the 13th, and then the 16th, the whole world literally shut down.
Yeah.
So overnight. We thought we were going home to do like a bit of a home quarantine for a couple of weeks, and anyway, didn't end up touching a rugby ball for about 6 months.
Sure.
And in that time, they managed to set up a World 10 series in Bermuda. I don't know if you came across that. It was on Sky and on Supersport out here and stuff. So it's like a pretty big televised event, and I don't know how they managed to get it up because it was in the middle of COVID.
Middle of it, it's growing, isn't it? Tens,
it was great. So we got it was with the South African franchise side, and we got flown out for about. Well, I think we were out there for about 5 weeks, if I'm not mistaken. And
pretty good.
We were kind of an African kind of sevens based side, and we ended up kind of winning that, and then I got home Tuesday morning, and then Tuesday night I got hit by the car. So people like always ask me about, why did you get on your motorbike, et cetera. So I've said to them, look, I never rode a motorbike on the road. Like, my motorbike was up at home. It was an enduro bike. I never rode it on the roads. And I took it down to Nairobi because I was off to Bermuda, and I've been riding it through COVID, so it needed a service. So it went in for its service whilst I was away. My car, I've got a short wheelbase Land Cruiser that's got a little button on the steering column. So once you turn the key, you've got to press the button to turn off all like the electrics in the car. And Mum had used my car and hadn't turned the button, basically. So my battery in my car was completely flat. And then my sister's car that was always in Nairobi, she just moved up home to where Mum is.
Okay.
So it was literally, my bike was there, and I just jumped on my bike and I went probably, I don't know, 600 meters up the road.
You wouldn't think anything of it, would you?
And nothing. So just chucked on my helmet, cruised up there slowly, went and saw my mate and his mum just for a catch up. We had dinner with them, had a cup of tea. The Kenya still had its its curfew times. So it was 9:30, I think. And so about 9 o'clock, I just jumped on my bike to head back home. And I basically got to a junction, and there's a speed bump just before, and there's a speed bump, you like kind of go around the corner, and then there's another one, and there was a car coming, and I saw the car, but I knew the bumps were there, so I was like, okay, let me just pull out a bit on my motorbike. I remember looking at this car, and it hit the bump pretty fast behind me.
Sure.
So like jeepers. So I kind of went to the next one, and I sped over the bump. He also went over that next bump fast.
Oh, no.
So I shot down the hill, and I looked back, and he was pretty far behind. Far enough for me not to look again before I turned, which I probably should have in hindsight now.
No, don't think about that too much. Sure.
I basically went to turn right, and I had slowed down, and it was at the bottom of a hill, so he had accelerated down the hill as well. And so as I was slowing down, he went to the other side of the road to overtake me. And obviously, if I then pulled across to that side of the road, he just T-boned me, and the poor leg took all the force.
Oh no, geez. So that was the taken the full force. And was the rest of your body okay? Did you come out of it?
It was,
Sure.
and surprisingly, and I don't know, like you look at rugby, and I watch rugby now, and I think I don't know how the hell I actually used to play rugby, because like the collisions are huge, like the force in those impacts is massive.
It's
Like
next level. Yeah.
Yeah, next level. And I think literally I was like in the perfect kind of condition to get hit by a car.
Sure.
I was fit. I had just been playing.
You
that
don't ever
10
say that
series.
sort of thing, do you?
Yeah. I've been battered around a bit.
Sure.
And so yeah, I literally got hit by the car. My leg took like the force of the car, but my helmet was all like smashed everything up the back. But I had no concussions. I didn't have any sores. I thought I'd basically got gravel rash over I thought I ripped my nipple off, but other than that, I was pretty much all right. Maybe a few graces on my knees, but yeah, the body was completely fine, and the car hit me like going at least 70 kilometers an hour. So
that's decent. Sure.
Which is nuts to think, and I just love to know, because it was a hit and run. I'd love to know if like I went over the car or like around the side of the car. I don't really know where it.
No, I bet it's probably a blur. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I woke up unconscious in the road, basically, gasping for a bit of air.
No.
And I knew that the leg was going to be broken.
Pretty straightforward.
I remember seeing the headlights and thinking, shit. The next thing I wake up, like looking at the stars almost. So I like checked my body, patted it kind of down, made sure everything was like all right. I felt down like my other leg, that was fine, and I looked at my right leg, and there was a big kind of open wound at the back.
Sure.
And I was like, oh, holy moly. So then I went to lift my leg up to have a better look at it. And as I lifted it up, it was then just hanging. So snap, tib and fib. And so that caused that. So that was a bit of a shock.
Wow.
And now
what happened? Sorry.
That's all right. I thought like, well, now I'm in the middle of the road. It's a dark patch of the road. It's at the bottom of a hill. Like if a car comes down, they're literally going to run me over as well. So I like lifted up my leg and kind of crawled off the road backwards with my leg in the air. Took my helmet off, took my phone out, called my mate I was with, and I said, you got to come and get me. I've basically broken my leg, a car's hit me. So can you come down here?
Come and help.
He was super chilled, and I didn't want to panic him either. He was like, yeah, I'll be, and he said it in a tone that I've heard before. It takes a bit of time. He's not like efficient. So I was like, fuck, well, he's going to be a while.
Oh, no.
And then actually a friend of mine was on her way home from a dinner as well. And she was like, oh, there's a motorbike, there's a white guy, I probably know who this is.
Okay. All right.
Not so many of us are white people in Kenya. So I think majority kind of know each other. So she was, unfortunately, she was the one that then found me and had to kind of deal with me.
Wow.
But she was super switched on, and I don't know how, so brave, like to see the state I was in.
Absolutely. And then you got to the hospital, and then so at that point, what are you thinking is happening with the leg? Are you thinking, oh, just a break, I'll be braced? Or I guess at the time you don't know. Yeah.
I thought just a break, but I thought also like it's gonna, if I can fall off, like because it's just being held on by skin at the front of my shin basically. And no bones, or all my ligaments were gone as well. So it was literally just being held on by skin. And I was thinking like hopping to like the emergency door basically at the hospital. I was like, I think it might just come off.
Wow. So did you do that?
Yeah.
She took you, you hopped?
We pulled up to A&E, and it actually was all closed. It had like a padlock on it, and the curtains were drawn. So I jumped out of the car and I hopped to the door basically, and I knocked on it and said, please help me. And somebody opened the curtain. They were like, because I guess they were just looking at my face. They were like, how can I help you? And then I lifted my leg up.
Just look down.
And then, and then I got down on the ground, and that's when they got kicked. Like everything started rushing properly then, and then like panic set in. Like it just hit me like a shock and all of that. So
absolutely, all that adrenaline just fades away, and you've got.
So they drugged me up, straightened the leg basically. And it's not a very good hospital, so I just literally went there to get my leg straightened and to get drugged up. So Coral, who found me, she got on the phone straight away, and her dad put her in touch with a surgeon, and he said, just send me the photos now, take him to Karen Hospital, and then bring him to me later when he's basically like stable.
Still stable, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so got kind of stabilized in Karen Hospital, and then I got taken to another hospital in kind of Nairobi center called Aga Khan.
Yeah.
And then that's where my first surgery was.
Okay. Do you remember? This is the first of 12. Is that right?
First of 12, exactly.
First of 12. Wow. Okay. So you've got at this stage, is obviously it's too raw. You don't really, you're just dealing with what's in front of you. And the full scale of this hasn't quite hit in, has it?
No.
Sure.
I think like being on drugs as well. Like I was chatting, I remember still sitting there chatting to the surgeon, and I was like, he was like, so what are you up to? Like, how did you get like in this? Are you working? Blah, blah. I was like, mate, I've got to be at the Olympics in July.
No pressure. No pressure.
Yeah, no pressure. I just thought this is like a little break. I'll be put in a cast. I didn't at the time. I don't know why I didn't think like. Of course, I've snapped my tib and fin, but I was like, no, just put me in a cast and I'll be good to go. I was like,
you do kind of think that initially, don't you? You've got no reason to suspect otherwise.
I guess. And
what was the
naive to it?
Exactly. Well, it is coming from kind of a medical physio background anyway. Just so it's easy to just assume people know all about it and know the names and what's coming. But yeah, I mean, that's a big part of the thing is the education and expectation management as well. That's a big part of what comes quite hopefully early on. What was the first surgery? I mean, I'm not going to ask you to recall the exact specific orthopedic procedure, but what do you remember what they did for the first one?
Oh, well, thank goodness, because I don't have a clue what the right words are for it. But they where the wound was basically at the back, they basically couldn't plate it because the risk of infection was too high. So the first surgery they did in Kenya was literally clean out that whole wound. So the surgeon, he sent me photos afterwards. Like there's photos of, it's basically like the flap of skin on the back of my legs open, and you can see all the muscle in the back there. I'm just below my calf. And the next photos afterwards were basically all the tendons and no muscle. You could see the back of my shin bone basically. So they literally cleared out all of that muscle, and ultimately I think it saved my leg, to be honest, because I was then told, okay, we'll do the first surgery here, but then after that we can't put an external fixator on, which is basically that cage, because we don't do that in Kenya. So you're going to have to go down to like your closest center of excellence, which is obviously Cape Town. And the surgeon was like, look, I did all my training there. I know the surgeon to send you to. He'll do everything for you. I've been in contact with him already. We just need to get the medevac to fly you down there, basically.
Nice.
Which is the air ambulance. And so the injury happened on Tuesday night, and I was told I had to be in South Africa latest Thursday night for my surgery.
Wow.
Otherwise the leg's going to have to come off.
How did you, was that organized by yourself, your family? Was that organized by insurance, or how did you get down?
So insurance did it. So my insurance company were actually like really good with the whole thing, but they basically outsourced the medevac company, which was an American company. I believe they were called America Assist or something like that. And as I was saying earlier before, like Kenya's quite a small community. And so a lot of our friends are involved in the medevac kind of operation. And so we were talking to this was like Wednesday, we were talking to the insurance, like what's going on. They were like, look, we're looking for aeroplanes. We've submitted your proposal, blah, 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 blah. By Thursday, nothing yet. And so we basically called up a family friend of ours who's got a big jet business there, and they do medevacs as well. And he looked through everything and he said, there's nothing submitted with your name in it yet. So we went back to them saying, look, nothing's been submitted. Now Thursday night, Oscar's been told he has to be in South Africa by Thursday night latest. So now you guys are negligible if his leg has to come off. So then, Friday I was on a plane down to South Africa. And still on all sorts of drugs. They filled me up with fentanyl on the way down there. Got down.
Good stuff.
Good stuff. And then got down there, and my leg had obviously swelled up. And so when I was in the little A&E section, they were trying to take the cast off, and I was in a bit of pain. And I was like, "You're literally going to pull my foot off if you pull me harder."
Yeah.
So like, look, don't worry, we know what we're doing. And I was like, I can't deal with this right now. So they were like, "Okay, we'll get the doctor and we'll sedate you." So the doctor came down. She filled me up now with ketamine. So that was a wild little trip as well.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was so crazy. Like the whole A&E room literally filled up with like my arms and my legs, like just spaghetti everywhere. And I was trying to find like my feet and my hands in this whole like mess. And it was weird because I was like fully with it. Like I thought I was like looking around and seeing everything like in real time, but it was just filled with my legs and my arms. And then they kind of shot to the top right corner of the room. And then I went into a dream state back at Cape Town Airport, and they were like 4 individual things. So my hands and my feet were all individual, and they were go-karts just racing each other around Cape Town Airport, jumping over like Play-Doh jumps and like Mario Kart basically. And
what a trip.
It was fucking wild.
Yo.
Wild. So came back around, the cast was off.
Okay.
And
that's the go-karts for you. Yeah.
Lying there on the bed. And then then they sent me in for surgery. So
okay, this is the first big one, isn't it? Yeah.
This was the first big one, yeah. And so this one I didn't know at the time, and they hadn't really told any of us, but by them saying you got to be down by Thursday evening, basically, otherwise your leg won't be alive. And so my first surgery down in South Africa, I went in for amputation.
So you were listed literally. I saw that the bit of reading I did. You were listed twice for amputation.
Yeah.
Throughout this, was that right?
Yeah, exactly. So this was the first one, which we didn't really have any idea about. But they were basically, so after the surgery, the surgeon kind of came back in when I had come around and I was in recovery and back in the ward and everything. My sister was there, and he was like, "Well, as you can see, thank goodness we didn't have to amputate." And my sister was like,
absolutely.
"What?" And I was like, "What?" And they were like, "Yeah, well, we presumed that the flesh in your lower leg would basically be dead, because it's been sitting there for 3 days."
Yeah.
And so they were like, it's literally a miracle how it's not dead, and it's you're basically a perfect host to save a limb. So I also asked them about this, like how do you judge someone depending if you're going to amputate or not?
Yeah.
And they basically said, as somebody comes in, we look at them, we say like, okay, are they an athlete? Are they an alcoholic? Are they a smoker? Are they blah, 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 whatever? And they rate your body as a host to save that limb. So they said, you're a professional athlete, you're fit at the moment, like you're a perfect candidate to try save the limb. So the flesh in your leg is still alive. So we didn't decide to amputate now. And they said, right, you're in a much better position now because we put the kind of A-frame brace in. This was just before they put the X-Fixer on. And they said, right, you're basically 50-50 for your next surgery, but you're in a lot better position than your last one. So I was like,
wonderful.
I'll take 50-50.
I'll take 50. Yeah, considering it was even on the cards. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was quite crazy. Anyway, got through that next surgery.
Sorry to interrupt. Sorry to interrupt. The next surgery. So this is literally the Friday. How long before the next surgery? Then is this days? Or are we talking weeks?
We're talking days. So I can't actually remember how close they were back to back, but I had 7. So I was in hospital for literally on the 6th week I got out.
Okay. Yeah.
And so I got out just before Christmas. And so I had 7 surgeries in the first 5 weeks.
Sure. No, that's fair. I guess also with all the meds and the go-karts and the hands and stuff and that experience, you probably weren't tracking anything at that
stage. The brain wasn't working in the right form, that's for sure.
No. Yeah. Okay.
So that was, I'm not sure when the next surgery was, but it would have been pretty close. It would have been probably maximum, it would have been a week away. But I think at the start, I think they were all pretty close. Yeah.
They go in the second time. When did the X-Fix, the kind of cage come on? Did that come on for later on?
That was the second surgery.
Fine.
So they on the first surgery they just stuck that kind of A-framey type brace on that was kind of drilled in everywhere, and then the next surgery they pinned all of my toes, but they were all broken. I dislocated my big toe, so they pinned the big toe, and then they stuck the X fixer on.
Okay. And so the on top of the tib fib, the muscle, the lesion, the flap. So all of your toes were also, were they all fractured as well or dislocated? How did?
So I had broken my baby toe and the next toe in on the actual toes, and then the third toe and fourth, which I guess which way you look at it, basically going from little toe inwards. If we look at it this way, so these two were snapped on the bones. These two were snapped on the. Is it your metatarsals or those in your hands?
Yeah, the metatarsals in
the foot. So the metatarsals were broken there, and then my big toe was. I'd almost chopped off my big toe in the accident as well, but that was also managed to dislocate itself. So they pinned that, pinned the next two underneath the toes, and then pinned the last two toes through the toes.
Very good, very thorough then. Yeah.
So they did a good job.
A good job.
A lot of metal work in there.
I was going to say, you just literally riddled with the stuff. And then with the post-op stuff, there was that. Did they enforce? I'm assuming they to promote bone healing and recovery. They enforced non-weight bearing for a certain period of time so that they could see whether there was bony union and development of the bones again. Is that right? Or
so it actually took a bit of time because my tib and fib snapped in such a way that they had to take out a fair bit of bone that was kind of floating between. And so then my right leg is actually 3 centimeters shorter than my left leg now.
3 centimeters. Wow.
Yeah, which
that's
is
a chunk. That's a big chunk. Yeah. Okay.
And so so once they put the X fixer on and it kind of started moving everything into place and pulling everything together, it did take a fair bit of time for that healing to start. And so the surgeon was kind of like, so at this time at this point, let's say it's after Christmas now, I'm out of hospital. He said, look, you can carry on, start doing your rehabbing, start trying to walk a bit on it, as that might also kind of speed up the healing in that area a little bit, just with the blood flow and everything. So the interesting thing with that X fixer is that it takes all the force. So even though I had like a snap tib and fib still, I was able to like leg press. And there's a few videos I'll send you some of it on the leg press pushing with the X fixer on.
Oh, that'd be great to see that. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's kind of a bit of a catch-22 because like obviously training's been a massive part of my life, and to keep fit and all of that kind of I had to keep me mentally sane.
Absolutely.
But it also led to a lot of like infections in the pin sites from the X fixer.
Yeah.
So I think for about 6 months I was basically on antibiotics, just non-stop trying to get infections down. And they were like, look, why don't you stop this? But I was like, if I stop this, I'm just going to go into a spiral of basically negativity. So I'd rather be on antibiotics for 6 months and literally be able to cope with my head.
Release the stress. Just get a sweat going.
100%.
Nah, I bet.
I mean, like the hardest thing about that as well was I didn't actually have a full shower for 6 months. So obviously I like showered and stuff, but I'd have to sit there with my leg out of it, and then I'd have to get like little cloths and go around all my pin sites to clean my leg and stuff. And so trying not to get that wet for like 6 months or stand in a shower or fully submerge yourself in like a bath. I remember when I first did that after 6 months, and I was like, oh man, this is like the next big win.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a huge
walking.
Yeah, absolutely. Do they not have the water? They're sometimes able to get. I don't know whether they have like the waterproof boots, but I don't know whether it's big enough.
Condom that you chuck on your head.
It
unfortunately just wasn't big enough to get around the X fixer.
Okay. Yeah, that's fair. It's a pretty big thing, isn't it?
Yeah. So then when the X fixer finally came off and they decided to plate it, so I said, look, I don't even mind if my tib and fib aren't fully healed yet. If you can take this X fixer off and go in and plate my leg, let's do it.
Yeah.
So they then decided, okay, everything's kind of in line, and your skin grafts, because I had 3 skin grafts. So your skin grafts have kind of healed down there. So let's go in and plate it and get the X fixer off. So they went in and plated my tib and fib. So 2 plates, 16 screws, and then I got the condom on the leg for
There we go.
a few weeks, and then that came off, and then we were fully in the shower.
Yeah, off to the races, literally.
Off to the races, yeah.
Where did the skin grafts go then? Is this, I'm assuming it's mostly at the back where the biggest wound was?
So where the initial like explosion was out the back of my leg, that was the biggest skin graft.
Sure.
So one was on there, and then where the tib and fib had pushed, it didn't push through the skin on the front there, but it had killed a lot of the skin in that area. So one skin graft was then on the front of the shin, and then my ankle as well had also basically pushed forward. So I lost all the tendons through my ankle as well. Actually, when I broke the leg, so all my toe tendons, I couldn't lift my foot. I had drop foot, and so there was a big wound that actually took the longest to heal.
I would imagine that generally bone, for someone who's healthy, doesn't smoke, doesn't drink, bone is pretty resilient stuff. Responds very well to the load. You put it on, it gets stronger where it needs to be. But tendons and soft tissue, connective tissue tends to be the one that lingers the most. So just talking to that, there was literally a rupture of all of your foot tendons. Is that right? Or were they strained?
Yeah.
Or?
No, I snapped through all of them. So when my ankle basically, pushed forward,
was that the tendons at the front of the ankles, or those the ones that lift? We call it dorsiflexion, where you lift your foot up.
Yeah, exactly.
Is that right?
So, so like if you're sitting there now and you go to lift your foot, you'll see your toes will also lift up as you do it. And you can feel all the tendons on the front of your ankle there working. So you've got all your toe tendons that run up there and all that. The tendon that comes to your shin bone, your tib muscle.
Very nice.
And a little bit there.
Very good.
Yeah, so I didn't have that. So still to this day, I can't lift my toes up. I can grip with them still, like a little bit. Like I got a little bit of kind of grip.
Deflection. Okay, sure.
But I can't lift them up to this day. And then I've now managed to I had drop foot for 10 months. So at this
That's
point,
understandable,
the scarring had healed from the being plated and stuff, and now I was in a moon boot, and we were kind of doing rehab and stuff. And then it was about 10 months in, I was then talking with a new surgeon, but I'd been there the whole time as well. But he was just like, I can't do anything just yet, but we'll get to me when we need to. And so it got to a point where now it was time to try and get the foot working again. And he said, this is honestly a very, very rare case.
That's why I had to double check. I had to double check that all of these tendons are gone. That's
crazy. So I was like, well, so what's the plan? Like, because I definitely don't want drop foot for the rest of my life.
Rest of your life.
And he was like, there's one thing we can do that I believe will work. So we can take your hamstring out. So I believe there's in your hamstring, it's 2 are majority muscle and then 1's majority tendon.
Pretty much, yeah. One's got a bigger tendon,
Yeah, so they basically took the whole tendon out from that one.
Sure, that's normally the one they do with ACLs.
With ACLs, exactly. Yeah. So they took that whole tendon out, and they basically were like, right, we can drill it into your big toe. We'll anchor it into your big toe, but in the foot. So not actually on the toe, but in the foot there. And then we'll run it up through basically the side of your skin graft on your front of your ankle.
Okay.
And we will then attach it to the tib and muscle, where the old tendon would have been.
Fine.
So they did that. They did all the surgeries, everything. It was in a cast for, I don't know what it would have been, maybe 6 weeks, let's say.
Yeah.
And then time to decide if it's working or not, which is the most terrifying time.
Were you nervous? Were you nervous going into? It sounds like that was the. Yeah. Sure.
This was like probably the hardest part of the whole leg I went through. Just thinking, because I kind of managed to get past everything else. Like they were like, oh, you won't walk again, you won't run again. And I knew I could do that even if I had drop foot. Yeah,
exactly. Surgeons tend to, again, don't want to generalize, but I think surgeons, they're getting better, but they have to give you the worst case.
So I was like, right, well, now it's either I know yes or no if this is going to work, and then either got drop fit for the rest of my life or not. And
yeah.
sat there, the cast came off, my foot was sitting there, and then he was like, right, try lift it now. And I was like, jeepers, I don't even know if I can look.
Yeah.
I tried, and there was a little bit of movement, and he started like celebrating, and I was then like, yes. And it was
amazing.
It then got kind of better and better throughout the day. And
that's
honestly,
good.
it was like a massive weight off my shoulders.
Yep.
And I was like, right, relief. Like I've got my foot working again. I can actually live a normal life now.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then it must have been 3 days down after that it stopped working.
What happened this time?
So I was sat on the sofa with my mate and his girlfriend, because I was living with them down in South Africa at the time, because that's where all my surgeries and rehab was. And I was like, Katie, do you think is my foot getting like less and less as I try to lift it up? And she was like, I think literally we were watching it like getting less and less. And it got to a point where it just didn't lift anymore. And I was like, oh Lord, like what is going on here? Like, and that's the worst part. Like mentally, that's the biggest like struggle I'd ever.
It is. Yeah, sure.
And so I called up the surgeon straight away, and he was kind of like, look, I don't think it's much to worry about. I think basically the hamstring is too strong for the tibant where we attached it. Okay. So come in, we'll do a scan, but the scan was only a few days after that. So I couldn't go see him straight away. So yeah, it was really, really my lowest point.
A few days. Yeah, absolutely.
I was literally just crying, I think, for those few days.
Oh, man.
And so then I went and saw him. He did the scan. He's like, yeah, the scan shows that it's basically come apart from that bit of the tibant. But he was like, but don't worry about it. I've got another plan up my sleeve. And I was thinking, okay, so what are we going to do now? He was like, well, because your toe tendons, we haven't attached any of those. They're just kind of sitting there. We'll take your second toe tendon from the toe next to my toe. So they took that. They basically intertwined that through the hamstring, and then intertwined it up through the tibant muscle. Sure. So, I don't know if I can get my leg up high enough here.
We're testing your mobility now.
So you can see the hamstring.
Oh, there you go.
So all the fascia is gone, so it doesn't hold it down. So
okay. No,
so basically at the top of that, they reinforced it onto the tibant muscle, and then into the hammy, and since then it's been working. It's
been good. I think what they can do, so you get a good surgeon.
Yeah, it's crazy.
But for him to, it sounds like he almost kind of made that up on the move, really, to try and help biomechanics wise, trying to get it through. It doesn't sound normal, as you said. Pretty rare case.
And he sent me all the videos of them, like where they were drilling it in and attaching it, and then like moving the foot and seeing the tendon through like the slice they had done. Like it's pretty grim stuff, but it's fascinating to see.
It sounds fascinating. Just seeing that there as well. So the have you heard of a tissue called retinaculum? So that's just leverage. So where the tendon's coming up here or above, I don't think. Basically, the retinaculum keeps the tendons close to the bone, so that they pull as a better lever. And I guess without having the ability to recreate the retinaculum, it comes up off the skin, off the front there. So
out a fair bit.
Yeah, is it sore?
No, it's not actually. It's the only pain that I get is after I race now, really, and I get like a deep growing pain kind of feeling in the bone. But other than that, no, it's honestly it's remarkable. Like
nice.
It
doesn't affect your training.
No, like it's I mean like I think I could potentially have got back to playing rugby, but I just thought it's not worth it. Like having saved my leg, having saved my foot, like what if somebody was just to chop me in like a freak tackle and it was all to go again? And like I don't have the mental capacity to go through that again.
I don't think anyone would blame you for that. I think that would take a normal ankle tweak to another level, wouldn't it? You just
for sure.
Wow. This is further down the line. So this is into 21, is it, or 22 now?
This is probably 20, probably end of 21, starting 22. So I think it's let's say it's end of 21. Then I did kind of a year and a half in South Africa after my accident with just like like, thank goodness I was a professional athlete before, and I didn't have to get back to an office job, and I had all these contacts down in South Africa, and so I spent a year and a half literally doing rehab.
That's
and my surgeries in rehab, and it's such a good facility down here. It's where the Springbok 7's are based. It's the high performance center.
Awesome.
And so they just took me under their wing, and they just said, well, we'll get you back.
What out of interest, that you got to the stage now where you can start loading, did they, in terms of the first assessment or so with the physios or the rehab team, did you set, what goals did you set from that point? Did you start, you mentioned not turning into rugby, or did you start saying, look, my long-term goal is X, Y, and Z, or did you say, right, I'm just going to take it jogging for the first,
Well, yeah, so it was quite early on that I realized the Olympics was going to be out the window.
Shame. That must have been hard.
And then, that was quite hard. And then rugby was out the window. And I kind of then thought, well, let me just take a step back, look back at where I've come from, what the goal is, and let's literally take it day by day, see what we can achieve day by day. Like,
nice.
Let's do an exercise. If that exercise has got a little bit of pain during it, but I don't have pain in the evening or the next day, then we know we can keep pushing slowly. So we worked on kind of a measurement of pain, I guess. There's a few things that we also kind of incorporated that was quite fun. So I was like, well, I need to do a bit of kind of cardio stuff. So just use like the hand like bike thing, which got water in it. And then on the rowing machine, we actually put 2 rowing machines next to each other. So I'd be locked in on my left leg on the one, and then I'd have my foot on the seat of the other one that was just in front. So as I push through, it would come back and forth.
Nice. I think I saw a Sonny Bill clip where he was doing the similar thing, where he had his foot in a boot but on a skateboard. So he was just just doing a similar thing. Yeah.
So
nice.
it was such a I mean, that rehab kind of time was such an interesting, because none of us knew what we could achieve in that.
Literally new things every 3 to 6, new frontiers kind of thing every few months, isn't it? So like the whole time,
and we kept like achieving these things. So I sat there with Joe, who was kind of doing my whole process at the time, and we were like, well, what can we do? Like, I was like, look, to be honest with you, if I can just get back to living like a normal life, playing social sports, that's a huge win for me. Like, I had no intention of kind of ending up going down the route I've gone down now, but
no. Wow.
I was like, if I can get back to just playing social sport, I'm super chuffed. So we gradually built it up. They've got one of those gravity treadmills here.
Is it Alta G?
Alta G, exactly.
Yeah.
So there you got the Alta G here. So I got put in the Alta G. I was walking in the Alta G. I then built up to a bit of running. Yeah. And I carried on.
Nice.
And ended up doing a bit more running in there, and then running outside of the treadmill, but on a treadmill.
How was that, out of interest? How was that the first running session? Do you remember what it was like, going like, right, this is...
Well, at first I was thinking, I don't even know if I know how to run, because before I'd just been running in a zero gravity thing, so my legs were kind of just moving around. Whereas now getting onto the actual treadmill and moving a bit, like, it was so different to feel, because obviously, like, in my ankle, I kind of lost like the shock absorbers as such.
So
even now, like when I run, like my right leg really thuds on the ground. It just doesn't have that spring. So even if I do like single leg, like hops or bounds or whatever, like it's minimal.
Fine. So you generating that from like your knee and your hips, really? You're getting that mostly from there, further than your ankle, then?
Yeah, for sure. So the ankle, it's kind of, so when I was running, it all felt a bit like different. Obviously, my legs a bit shorter as well. But just to be able to run again, it was like when my foot was working, like, it's right, the next win. Super stoked with what we've achieved here. Let's build it up. So we moved like outside, doing a lot of kind of diagonal work with cones, changing direction.
Oh, great. It's a big step.
Which was awesome. And then that was kind of time where I was like, I think I can finally go home. So I went back to Kenya and was just working out there. So in hospital, a good mate of mine called James Murphy, who is a boy who I met on the series from the Springbok 7's. He basically said, look, come down. My mum's got a house here. Just literally move in with her. And so I think my mum lived with her for about a year.
Oh, wow.
And they became very good mates. And so me and James set up a flooring business when I was in hospital. So I went back home to Kenya for the year, and kind of got that up and running properly at home. Was on the ground. I was kind of occupied with that. I was playing touch on Wednesdays up at home. I was playing hockey. So life was fully normal. It's just like I was a retired rugby player now.
Yeah. Excellent.
But as it got better and better, I thought, right, what can I do now to challenge myself? So started to do a triathlon, just one for fun, just kind of in like a game reserve near us. And I ended up coming second in that. And I thought, bloody hell, well, the legs running quite well on a 5K. On the bike, it's fine. On the swim, it's fine. So is there a route it kind of sparked an idea in my head to kind of think to try and get to Paris for triathlon. Which was a crazy idea. And I didn't realize the whole process it was going to have to I was going to follow from there, but there was no chance I could have made Paris basically for triathlon because the time was just far too short and I wasn't good enough. Like the level of like Paris stuff, it's crazy. Like,
yeah, they're so fast.
We'll get into that, but like PDS5, sure. the category I fall into now, which is your least affected category, like the boys are quick.
Yeah.
So there was no hope, but it sparked an idea, and I sat with the Secretary General of the Paralympic Committee, and he was like, let's go for it. So I got in contact with Stellenbosch Academy of Sport down here where I did all my rehab. And I said to Joe, do you know anyone involved in triathlon down there? Is there a squad I can join? And he said, yeah, there's actually Vicky, who's one of the South African triathletes. She's got Stellenbosch triathlon squad. So we'll put you in touch with her.
Very nice.
They just brought in a coach called Colin Fleming, who's running the high performance part of that. So I sat and I had a call with him and Vicky, and I said, look, this is my vision. I think it's pretty crazy, but would you be willing to see if we can make it work? And he said, for sure. So I came down to South Africa and started my kind of triathlon journey in April of 2024.
Okay.
And in the time I was still in comms with like the Kenya lot, and they basically asked me to be a chauffeur for them in Paris because a lot of them are disabled as well, be it like visually or missing a limb or whatever. So they said, can you basically drive us around Paris? So I said 100%, like just to be a part of the games would be very cool.
Very cool.
But I'd been registered by Kenya for triathlon.
Okay. All right.
So this is then how I ended up in Paris participating, but not in triathlon.
When did it up happening there?
So it was, I left, having done a few months down here with triathlon. I then left to head to UK to do a few races there because over winter here, the races stop. And they did ask me to source a tandem bike. And so I went to this triathlon and I bumped into this lady that was racing on a tandem bike. And I said, look, this is crazy, but where do you know where I could get a tandem bike for Kenya? They're going to the Paralympics. We need to find some bikes. And she put me in touch with this guy called Tom Ward, and him and his dad built this tandem bike. And Tom focuses on like the aerodynamics of like wheels and the bars and everything. And his dad builds the bikes. So we got this very cool bike built for us. Well, it wasn't for me at the time. Built that was going to end up in Paris, and the boys were going to race on it. Anyway, when I got to Paris, I had no idea that the para guys on the tandem bike had actually had a crash. So they were in I think it's called Compagnon or something, just like as a camp just before going up to Paris. And they actually rode through a red light on their bike, and a car was obviously going through on a green light, and they T-boned the car. And so the pilot is the guy basically on the front of the tandem who can see. He's got the visually impaired guy behind him. But they went through the red light, and he flew over the car, broke his collarbone, broke his hip. So now they were out the race. Basically, Ogada was still good, who's the athlete. But their bike now was fully broken, and Ogada basically wasn't going to be able to race. And so as I was now driving around the officials, I was chatting to the head of the cycling, and he was kind of like, what are you up to? And I said, I do triathlon. I try to get Paris for triathlon, but way too short notice. And then he said, well, that's quite interesting. The boys have had a crash. You ride a bicycle. Just give me a bit of time. Anyway, he comes back and he said, mate, you're in. You're going to be racing.
Wow.
I was like, what?
No way.
And so I now called up my coach down here, Colin. I said, Colin, you're not going to believe this, but I need you to write me a program for basically like 3 days just to get me riding as much as I can.
Yeah, sure.
And so, so now I was, in Paris, in the village. Never
Very
ridden
nice.
a tandem bike in my life.
Oh, no. Yeah, no pressure. Sure.
Yeah, I mean, so now the bikes arrived, and they arrived, I think, probably 3 days before the event. And so this day they arrived, it was pouring with rain. And it was actually quite funny because the bike that did arrive was a bike that I sourced in the UK, and now I was racing on it.
Nice.
And it was pouring with rain. I said, Garda, we just got to go. Like, I just need to get on this bicycle and understand.
You just need time. Yeah.
So I left him by like a tree on the first lap, and I said, just wait here, let me just do a lap, and then I'll come and get you. So did the lap, went and got him. And the third time I rode a tandem was on the start of the Paralympics line.
No, man.
Yeah.
How did you? That's what we'll get into the race now, because that's really want to go into. How did, in terms of comms and things, are there tactics and things that you're feeding back to him, or does he just rely on you to? How did you learn that?
I mean, it was like, so when I got into the village, I got to know him very well. Like, you have to, obviously because he's visually impaired, he can't get around the village, so like all the meals, everything. Like I literally lived with him for the whole time I was there, so I got to know him pretty well the first few days, and then we would discuss, and I was like, what do I need to tell you, blah blah blah, and I basically had to tell him everything. I said, right, we're cornering right, cornering left. Like, I had to tell him when to take his nutrition. So like every 15 minutes was like a gel or the bottle.
And braking and things like that, and down gear, up gear.
I control all of that, but I would tell him. So I'd say, right, we're braking here, stop pedaling, because you're on the same cadence.
Yeah.
Like, you're speaking non-stop here, you're blowing out your ass, and you've got to
I bet
non-stop.
Like a rally driver, isn't it? The co-pilot just constantly.
Yeah,
sure.
Exactly. And we didn't have headphones or anything, so I was like kind of having to shout like under my arm or around the side to tell him like,
jeez.
How did
it go?
We almost fell off the bloody blocks because at the start of it by the ramp, I was like, Agade, so what's our plan here? And he said, okay, let's just go up like quite a high gear. And so we start it fast because the guy will give us a bit of a push.
Okay.
Anyway, it was like 3, 2, 1, and there was no push. And now I was like, fighting the handlebars to not fucking fall off this little block as we started our race.
In the high gear, yeah.
In the high gear. So I think we finished 10th out of 11th in the time trial, and then that was on the Wednesday, and then on the Friday we had the road race, which was 130 Ks. And we actually, like, when the men finish it, they then kind of stop the race. So we had got lapped, and so we got pulled off the course, basically. Like, we could have done one more lap and stopped halfway, but we decided, right, we're at the start and we're going to get pulled off. So we just pulled over there where all the tents were and stuff. So we got a DNF actually for the road race. But yeah, crazy. What an experience. And
unbelievable.
What a funny way to have like missed out on Tokyo, having qualified, to then ending up in Paris for the road cycling. And then
that's awesome.
Yeah, on from that, I kind of came back down to South Africa. I got my classification all done for para in October. Last year I did my first triathlon event, and then here we are today.
How's and you pushing on training wise? What's the next? You mentioned before we started recording. What's the next big tech that you're aiming for?
This year was kind of like to get points and experience and just get on the circuit and get on start list. So you have to have a higher world ranking to basically get on start list, because our start list is quite small. And so this year I try to kind of maximize the points that I could, and also get a few bigger races in just to get some experience against some of the top guys. And it's gone really well. It's kind of all gone to plan. I became Africa champ.
Amazing. That's great.
Points,
congratulations.
Awesome. Thank you very much. And then that also gave me my qualification spot for world champs. So
great.
I'm now sitting 13th in the world.
Amazing.
And off to Australia in mid-October to race world champs, which will be awesome. It'll be
nice. Well, excellent. Really good luck for that. I think it's not far away, is it? Just this year seems to be going faster and faster, disappearing. It's unbelievable.
I think it's
when do you head out?
I'm going out next Saturday, so the 4th. I'm actually going to Perth for 10 days. So I'm good mates with the Irish para in my category and the Aussie para in my category. And so when we were in Montreal in June, July. We were racing then. We basically set a plan. We said, well, if we're all going to world champs, why don't we come to Perth for a bit? So yeah, off to Perth for 10 days to train at their institute there, and then we'll fly to Sydney on the 14th and then race on the 18th down in Wollongong.
Oh, amazing. Well, I'll keep an eye on for that. I'm sure it's going to go.
Good.
Sounds going to go really well. Do you know what I was just thinking? I know it sounds boring, but logistics-wise, if I tried to catch you when you were in Australia, it would have just been a nightmare trying to do the time difference. So it's good that we got you.
So long for us to get on a call.
No, it's fine. Like you're busy training and life's busy. So yeah, thanks for responding. We have got about 5-6 minutes left, but I mean that's all the whole journey basically in real detail, which has been amazing to hear. There's so much that we've covered. Have you got any other goals going forwards? You've got the Worlds, and then you've got what's after obviously the Worlds is pretty big. You got to get that's ticked off, but what's coming after that?
Unfortunately, Com Games, there's been a bit of a spanner in the works with Com Games and it being thrown country to country, and Glasgow accepting it, but then cutting out 10 major sports, one being triathlon. Which is a shame, because that's quite a nice break, kind of, and also an awesome tournament as well, like to get to. So, but it's a nice kind of build up to your Olympics. So that's out the window. So it's just it's another year on the circuit, trying to build up. Obviously the goal is LA 2028 Paralympics for triathlon, and you got to be top 10 in the world for that. So they take only 10 from each category.
Wow. Okay.
And so
that's pretty good going.
The goal is to get in that top 10, and it's been okay getting down to like 13. It's been all right, but 13 down, 12 down is it's hard work. So
the last little bit, hopefully it goes well.
1% is the big part,
isn't it? Jeez, that's the way it's training is.
Yeah, let's see. The body's I mean, I'm still so new to this whole like endurance side of sport. It's been a massive change from rugby, being kind of, especially sevens, like short, sharp.
As you said,
it's got a little bit of endurance there, but it's very much kind of explosive and what you can, especially wrestling for 7 minutes.
Exactly. I interviewed the GB7's and ex All Black Sevens physios for a podcast on the difference between 15s, and what it actually boiled down to was a podcast talking about sprinters and hamstring injuries, because sevens is literally just all about top speed, maintaining that turnover. But you've done exceptionally then. If April last year and you've turned to a different sport and it's already ticking over like this, I think, how old are you now? I've meant to ask. How old are you now?
I turned 31 last Monday on the 15th.
Plenty of time. Plenty of time.
The body is definitely struggling a bit more, but I think there's still a lot of life left in the bones here.
Oh man, you're talking about it. I turned 35 this year, and I tried playing rugby again recently, and it just after a few years out, and it's in bits.
It feels like you've been hit by a car, literally.
Absolutely. No, Oscar, it's been amazing to have you on. Your journey is an eye opener, and thanks for taking the time to be on the podcast. It's been amazing.
No, well, thank you very, very much. It's always cool. It's always cool to chat to new people on different podcasts, like you coming from like a physio kind of background as well.
Sure.
Chatting through that kind of stuff. So it's super cool, and hopefully my journey I put it out there on social media just to help others.
Absolutely.
Quite a motivational, inspirational journey on my way back. So if it can help people out there, then I'm chuffed. So,
especially. No, great inspiration for those listeners, and hope physios listening as well. Listen, we'll let you get on. I'm sure you've got plans this evening, and we'll definitely keep an eye out on how you go in the next competition.
Perfect. No, thank you very much. Have a good weekend, and we'll chat soon.
Thanks, All the best.
No worries.
Cheers.